This is seriously my favorite Kentucky bourbon right now. If you haven't heard about it, stick around because this thing is freaking good. Hey guys, welcome back. I got a great whiskey for you today. It is Old Forester 1920 Prohibition. This is my favorite bourbon right now. It comes in at 72% corn, 18% rye, and 10% malted barley. It's 115 proof, 57.5% alcohol. It is a sweet bomb. It's dark, it's rich, it just takes care of you, and as you can tell, I love every sip of this thing, so let's get going. Okay, bourbon time. I've been waiting a long time to do this one. The wheel never landed on it. Well, guess what? No more wheels, so that means I get to choose. We got Old Forester 1920 Prohibition. Just an absolutely insane, really, really good Kentucky bourbon. Comes in at $65, or you get it cheaper at $60. I've seen it between $60 and $70. Just an insane value for what you get out of this thing. So I'm going to jump right into it. Go right into the nose. This thing, honestly, is like a maple cake. They just put like a cake, just liquefied it, put some alcohol in it, and bam. Like, this is one of the most sweet whiskeys I've ever had in my nose. It is perfect for post-meal, sharing with friends. It's, you know, that 115 proof. It hits hard, but you don't, at least I don't really like feel like it is that much. It is so sweet, so yummy. So we got maple cake, brown sugar, caramel. Definitely some oak there. And it's not that bitey. I'm going to say the George Dickel at 40% in my Versus video is much bitier than this. This thing is so good. Man, this maybe a little bit of some rye spices in there as well. This thing has everything. And it seriously does just smell like you liquefied just a cake batter. It is phenomenal. Really, really good nose. It really is almost like, it's like a port wine kind of thing, like a dessert whiskey. If that even exists, I'm going to make it up right now. It really makes you want to put it in your mouth, so let's do just that. All right, I'm really excited for this sip here. Oh yeah. I'm going to say it's really thick on the legs, and it really is almost kind of chewy, and I love that about this because, again, I feel like it is a very syrupy, cakey palate here. Very sweet. Maraschino cherries right there. The caramel hits, the brown sugar's hitting. It's a very deep palate, lots of stuff going on. Maple. I'm just gonna say, like, just full on just cake batter. It's thick. It's there. It's thick with 3 C's. This is so good. And the second sip is even better. I feel like I'm getting a lot more of like the maraschino cherry, hard candy syrupiness the more I get into this. And it really sticks around on the finish. This finish, probably one of the longest finishes I'm going to have on the channel to date. Longer maybe than some of the Islas I've done. It is so thick, it is almost like, this is going to sound bad, but I promise you it's not. Just like if you know when you drink cough syrup, how it just layers there and it sits there like the rest of the day, it feels like. That's this finish. But all of the good flavors are there. It is the maple, it's the cherries, it's the brown sugar, it's the caramel. It's the maple. It's just everything. This whiskey is so good. And at $60 to $70, I'm really going to have a hard time finding better value because this is just awesome. I love Old Forester. Even their like $20, like $1,800 one is super, super good. So let's just do a third sip. Yeah. I almost coughed in that sip, but I didn't. This is just an absurdly good whiskey. I think it tastes, for me, I think it tastes more expensive than $70, but it isn't, and that's the best part about it. So probably right now, unless I find something better, my favorite bourbon, not just Kentucky, just favorite bourbon of all time currently. Okay, time to rate this bad boy. Nose time. I think in the nose, It's got invitation. It makes you want to drink it. It's got complexity, and it's not scaring anybody away with any ethanol bite. There's obviously a little bit there because it is alcohol, haha, but all of the sweetness there just takes care of it, and it's like, hey, come here, put me in your mouth, and you're like, all right, I will. So I think I'm gonna give this a 4.75, and I know that I've been glowing about it, but there's also some of those like intangibles I just can't explain that I don't think it's quite at the 5, but 4.75, incredible score on the nose. So let's see what the palate has in store for us. So one final sip where I give the actual score of the palate. Warm, spicy, sweet, perfect. Another 5 on the palate for the channel, right here. Giving this guy a 5. It's just, and the way that you use this whiskey, at least for me, great post meal. Like a Thanksgiving, a Christmas meal, just a big meal. Pour a little dram of this, relax, sit on the couch, digest, get some nice sweetness going on in your life, because this thing is awesome. Okay, so for the finish, it is super long lasting. It's that syrupy kind of coating with all of the glorious flavors that the palate has, and it's not hard to get them off when you're just talking, just sitting there, just relaxing between each sip. And 2, 3, 4 minutes, seriously, you're getting all those flavors, and they're so good the second time around. I have to give this finish a 5. I think the ABV helps with it sticking around, but the thickness of the whiskey itself definitely helps layer it on, and I think that's what like kind of separates it from other whiskeys that I've had on this channel with like the finishes, because some of them don't last as long and some of them don't keep the flavors. But as the Scotch father says, one of the main things that he looks for what makes a good whiskey is how long the finish lasts, and this thing is probably one of the longest finishes I've had. It is so good. It is basically perfect, at least for me. Again, my opinion, but 5 on the finish. All right, time for the value. It's not going to be any surprise to anybody. My store, where I get my stuff, got it for like $70. I have heard tale. By the way, in my Discord, you can join it in the description below. Got some whiskey talk stuff there. People have found it for $60. The experience that I get from this bottle, for it to be between $60 and $70, is just absurd, but it's amazing for us as the consumer. So I think the value score gets a 5 on this. It's well deserved. They could probably up the price just because of how good it is, but they don't, and I love what Forster for that. It's just a really amazing, awesome whiskey. Okay, so overall score, almost perfect. We got 19.75 out of 20. There's just that little intangible there on the nose, but other than that, I mean, it's just freaking good. And by the way, some of you Scotch people that think that you don't like bourbons, listen here. I have a Glenlivet Nadura upstairs. That's a Speyside cask strength Scotch. It is aged, I think, for like 7 or 8, maybe 10 years in Oloroso sherry. That is very similar to this. Now it's a Speyside Scotch. It is a caramel punch in the mouth in a good way. It's a little more alcohol than this guy, but seriously, you're gonna get the same caramel brown sugar sweetness that you get out of this, but in a Speyside Scotch. Okay, so if you can drink the Nadura and you like those Speysides, go into this specific Kentucky bourbon. Maybe it'll open you up to some more whiskeys, because I really do think that there are some ways to make Scotches taste like bourbons to like bridge the gap. Because I know some people like swear by Scotches, they only swear by bourbon. So also, you bourbon lovers, go after that Scotch. Maybe dive into that one. It's a cask strength Speyside, super, super good. But again, almost perfect. This is definitely the highest I have on the channel. And see what the wife thinks. Okay, got wipe time. Now, I warned her pre-taping that this is going to kind of like punch you in the mouth, but let the sweetness hit you first, rather after, because you're going to be scared a little bit of just the bite on the, I mean, I'm kind of immune to it, but this is very good. I really want you to at least try and enjoy this, so give this guy a nose, and maybe we'll get, you definitely get maple out of this one, that's for dang sure.
Yes, I do.
What about some brown sugar?
Yeah, like vanilla.
Do you think it kind of smells like you're like baking during Christmas time?
Yeah.
Nice deep sweetness.
Vanilla.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sweeter.
Do you like that nose compared to some of the other ones we've had on the channel?
Yes, it's pleasant. It's good.
Okay, let's give this guy a sip. Oh, that was my dog. Thanks, Bruce. Don't let it scare you. Exhale. Now, what do we think? Drum roll on that. The face isn't good right now, but is it sweet?
No.
It's not sweet.
That is not
This
sweet.
makes me so upset. So upset.
I like the smell. I like.
Like they smell a lot better, but do
Yeah.
you just hate everything about the taste in your mouth? Like hate?
I wouldn't say I hate it. It's not
Okay.
the worst that I've had,
Okay, that's fair. I mean, Coalition's the worst, everybody.
but I would not sip this. With
You would sip the Kaio 7.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay. So I realized the reason the Kaio 7 was so good for her is light, it's citrusy, and it doesn't like pack the punches this guy does. But anyway, I think again for me, this is a really, really almost perfect whiskey. If you like this video, give it a like. Not subscribed yet? Appreciate if you do so. I'm just trying to grow a little bit, and see you next time.